Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, hello, everyone. Welcome to Photo Booth Template Design with Canva. I am Ryan, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here. We're going to have a wonderful little call today. Whether you're a complete beginner to Canva or someone who's ready to take their designs to the next level, you're in the right place. Congratulations, you have hit the jackpot. Today, we're going to find out all about unlocking the creative potential of Canva, specifically with photo booth setups. And throughout our time today, we're going to explore everything from creating 360 overlays. We've done this before. We're going to do it again. and to designing really stunning templates for things like bridal shows. And I know that I have a texting club, and I was on my way from Boston back to Las Vegas, and I had a lot of time on my hands and I had a lot of coffee. And I told everyone for an hour, I'm going to answer all your questions. And everyone, we had an overwhelming response. I think I was having like 40 conversations all at once. And on there we had talked about with a couple of individuals bridal shows. So we're going to do a couple of templates for that particular use. We're going to cover tips and tricks that will help you really wow your clients and really make your photo booth stand out. We always talk about what makes you different, better, and more special. Awesome. So by the end of today, hopefully you will have confidence to create your own event templates and do different formats and maybe try some fun things that you really haven't tried before, and just see where your creativity will take you. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and go over our agenda. Today we're going to be going over intro to Canva. This is the absolute basics. We're going to start from very, very scratch. And then we're going to get into doing a 360 template. So we're going to do an intro, an outro, and then a master overlay. And then we're going to also be creating a photo strip. Photo strips can easily be downloaded from Snappic and thrown into Canva, and you can make a whole bunch of design revisions very quickly and even on your phone. We're going to be going over mirror overlays, which everyone knows I love a mirror booth. And then we're also going to be getting into some advanced techniques. So we're going to be going over gradients. We're going to be going over how to put on a logo and it's white, and how do we make it stand out from our subjects. So we're going to be going over those things. I'm going to attempt to fix some bad artwork and show you how you can take something crappy and kind of make it into something presentable for your layouts. And then we're going to do the bridal show layout, and then we're going to go ahead and go into our giveaway. So I'm really, really excited to get to that one. So let's go ahead, and first up, we're going to go into the basics of Canva. So let me go ahead and move my screen. Perfect. Here we go. So if you don't have a Canva account, don't worry. It's really quick and easy to set up. You're going to head over to canva.com, and you're going to start off with the free account. Now, I do want to mention that I personally use Canva Pro, and I highly recommend it if you're really serious about taking those designs to the next level. And while it's a little bit more of an investment, I think it's $15 a month or $120 a year. So that comes out to $10 a month if you pay for the year in full. Really, the extra features that you get really make the design process so much smoother and so much more efficient. And you get a large variety of stock images and videos, and they have a whole bunch of little elements that you can use, and it's really, really fantastic. And not only that, you're going to get into some background removal. You can do some animations. You can do an infinite number of things. And Canva Pro really does make your life a lot easier. And the big thing is you're able to do it from any device. So you can do it on your phone, you can do it on your laptop, you can do it on an iPad, whatever device you have next to you, you can just pick up and get going on there. All the features today that I'm going to use are available in Canva Pro. And you're going to see how much they're going to streamline your workflow and how much it's going to allow you to focus on creating instead of figuring out, all the technical stuff. So what I like about Canva is that anyone can use it. And I'm really noticing that our clients are using it. So it's not uncommon for a client of mine to go ahead and send me a Canva link that I can, move things around on my own. So let's go ahead and get started there. So we're going to walk through some of the things on you're going to start off with creating a design. So these particular designs that I'm going to get into, it's all a magical number. So it's 1920 by 1280 for photos and 1920 by 1080 for video. So the way how you can kind of think of that really easily is, 1080p. So 1920 by 1080 is video, 1920 by 1280 is photo. So I'm going to go into custom size right here, and I'm just going to create a little template here. Okay, so on the left, what you're going to see is your toolbar, and it's going to have all the fun stuff like templates, elements, uploads, all the things that you're going to need. All your building blocks are all going to be here on the left-hand side. And what's going to happen here is you can go ahead and select any of these elements from here if you want to go ahead and start from scratch. In the middle is your workspace, and this is where we're able to kind of build everything. And then up here, you'll see position. So this is another way for us to arrange the layers of which we're designing our templates on. And then the top right-hand corner is all the things that you can do to share share whatever it is that you create. So you can download it and then upload it into Snappic. So this can be a little bit overwhelming, but that's okay. We're going to take it step by step, and we're going to play around with some templates. So the first template that we're going to do is we're going to do a 360 video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my Snappic. I have the fancy Snappic. If you don't have Enterprise Plus, are you even really doing photo booths? So we're going to go ahead and create an event. And previously I talked about event templates. So I'm going to go ahead and put in our preset for our 360 booth. I talked about that in a previous video. And I'm going to just change a couple of things. Just make it a test so that no one on my team freaks out and thinks that we have an event today. Perfect. And then we're going to go into our video templates right here at the bottom. So on here, we're going to click edit. And I have a whole bunch of preset ones on here. So this one is already done at 16 by 9. So 16 by 9 is the ratio. 1920 by 1080 is the dimensions. So a couple things on here that I would like to bring to everyone's attention that I haven't previously done is on here is your master overlay. So this overlay will go over the entire video, and then the overlay mask goes over the entire video as well. So if you want to do like a lower third that you want on the entire thing, this is where you're going to put it. So on here, I'm going to click timeline. And on this particular preset, I have standard music, I have a standard edit, and the only thing we change is our outro at the very, very end, where typically we'll upload someone's logo. So on here, I'm going to click that last little part of the timeline, and then on here, I'm going to go to these little visual effects right here, and I'm going to click edit effect. And then on here, I have blur and then overlay. So these are the two examples of what effect we're building with our animations on an outro. So the way how we're going to do this is I'd like to think of it as like whenever you're painting a room. So whenever you're painting a room, you're going to want to prime it and paint it white first, and then you're going to put your color on top of it so your color adheres better. So we're going to do the exact same thing. So your overlay is going to be your full logo. It's going to have all of the colors that you would want to have in it, and then the clipping mask is going to be all white. So on here, we're going to start with our blank template and set our dimensions, and our dimensions are 1920 by 1080. Okay, so someone just made a comment on here. With most people using Reels or Stories, why do you use landscape? Because I'm me. That's what makes me different, better, and more special. I don't do the reels. I don't do the TikToks. I like things to look very wide and expansive. And that's why I use the landscape for this. You are more than welcome to invert it and change it the other way. But yes, that's the reason why I do it that way. It is just how I prefer it. So on here, I'm going to go ahead and make it black first. So if I could get a example that someone wants me to create for this particular 360 video, if anyone wants to throw out some ideas of, you know, anything that we could potentially come up with, I will make it live right here on the spot. Anyone? Any options? What are we thinking? Snow globe, Pilates. How do I do Pilates? I saw Christmas. We're going to do Christmas because Christmas is easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and this is typically where we would either like upload a logo. So I'm going to, well, there's a lot of logos on here already. Actually, this is a good one. So one thing that I'm going to do on here is, and this is actually something we're going to get onto a little bit later on, is fixing templates. So typically what's going to happen is your client is going to send you a logo and it's most likely going to be janky. And that's just a fact that you're going to have to deal with. What I love about Canva is going to allow me to fix everything and not really have to do the go back and forth. So, oh, well, I don't have this. Can you send me in this format? Or is there anything clearer? Once we do the back and the forth, we can just eliminate that and just let me take care of it. Okay. So right here, what I'm going to do is this particular logo that we have for an event in London is this particular logo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click background remover and I'm going to remove the black, and you'll see why a little bit later. So once I have my logo set up to where I want it to be, I'm going to make this black. So on here, I need to mention that everything, so right here where it is giving you the instructions on your Snappic, it says areas with black or transparency in the clipping will mask out the areas, will mask out that area of the overlay. So anything that's going to be black is going to be transparent. So we want to make sure that everything that we design is going to be black. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to click the animate button. And again, this is just how I do things. So I'm going to click animate. And my go-to is breathe. So with breathe, we can do a couple of different versions and you can kind of see all the different pops and blurs and all the things. But again, this is just one that I particularly use is breathe. And then on here, I'm going to set it to 3.5 seconds. Now, the reason why I'm setting this to 3.5 seconds is this particular template that I'm doing. You can see right here, I've already pre-programmed it to be at 3.5 seconds. So I want to make sure that we're going to keep that the same. So now I'm going to delete these. And then I'm going to play this little 3.5 video and we're going to see, you know, this come alive. And I'm going to save this as come alive overlay. And then I'm going to hit share and download. Now what I'm going to do is briefly, I had talked earlier about whenever you're painting a room, we're going to want to prime it before we put on the color. So that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to click the edit button. So what we need to do is we need to make all of this white. So I'm going to click edit. And then I'm going to click duotone. So we're going to click duotone and then we're going to click custom. And then once we click custom, you're going to see highlights and shadows. we're going to make both of these white. And then I'm going to change the name of this to masking. And then I'm going to hit share and download. Perfect. So now I've created both of those files. So now I'm going to go ahead and upload this. So under the overlay, I'm going to click to upload it. And then I'm going to upload the overlay. And then I'm going to do the same thing and I'm going to click masking. So on here, we'll see the color. And then on here, we'll see the black and white. So we're creating both. And then we're going to hit save. And then what I'm going to do to make sure I didn't screw it up is I'm going to click preview timeline. So that's right up here on the top left-hand corner. And then I'm going to click 360 recording so we can see what it looks like. This is also a great tool to use whenever you're trying to do mockups for your client. So instead of setting up all your photo booth equipment, doing the event, putting the event in the system, doing a test sample, you can just do it here online. And whenever this video is finished processing, we can right click it and save it and then send it to our client. And we didn't even have to get up from the desk. There's not coffee in here. There's Dr. Pepper. You can take the boy out of Texas. Okay, so now that this is pretty much finished loading, we're going to see the example. And I don't think I'm sharing sound, so hopefully no one is going to get their ears blasted. If you do, I apologize. So this is our little sample edit. We're going to do the slits. And then what I have done is I have the blur set up and then a reverse and then the logo. So this is a great way to kind of bring in that logo very, very quickly. So typically what will happen is you'll have a client that will kind of, oh, I have a logo. How I didn't get it to you in time. Can you do it right now? This is a quick way to incorporate that logo into a template that you've already pre-designed. So I'm going to click close and then save. And then now that event's in the system. So we're good to go. So let's go the other way. So let's go ahead and say let's just say the client doesn't like it. The client wants to have that logo on the entire video in the lower third. So what we'll do is I'm going to reverse all this again. And I'm going to, I already do the remove. There we go. I'm going to bring this down. And I'm going to bring it into the lower third right here. And with this one, I'm going to do overlay PNG. And we're going to hit share and download. Now, this is incredibly important. What you're going to do is you're going to change the file type. Yes. So someone just said you could have duplicated the page and made the second one with the mask. Yes, you can do that if that works for you. So right here, we're going to do PNG. And it's very important right here to do, actually, we can do that now if you want me to do it that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit duplicate page. And we're actually going to change this. So I'm going to change this to come alive. And this is going to say overlay. And this is going to say masking. And then what we can do is do that same process. So we're going to click this, click edit, go down to duotone, custom, and then make it all white again. So you could do that the exact same way. I don't like to do it this way because there's a chance that you could like move it slightly and then it wouldn't match up, but it's fine. So you would go to download and then we're going to go to PNG And then this is incredibly important. We're going to hit transparent background. So I'm going to click that button and then download everything. Now what I'll do is I'm actually going to go to that timeline and get rid of this particular overlay and get rid of the blur. So now we're left with nothing. And then go over to master settings. And this is where we're going to upload everything for the entire video. So this is going to be static. So I'm going to click. Oops, I didn't download it. So we're going to get it out of that zip file. And then I'm going to go and bring in overlay. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring in masking. So then to make sure we did it correctly, we're going to click timeline and then do that sample preview again. And once that uploads, okay, so someone just asked why duotone and not white. So on here, it doesn't allow you just to make it white. And custom is where you would need to change everything to make it white. So here's that finished video. And we're going to see that Come Alive logo on the bottom throughout the entire video. Very, 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 very easy. Perfect. So now let's go ahead and go into photo strips. This is also kind of fun. So someone asked for me to explain the masking again and its purpose. So again, I've talked about whenever you're going in to paint a room, you want to go ahead and paint everything white first and prime it, and then put your color on top. So you have to think of it as like light shining through behind. We need that white to stop whatever is doing that ahead of time. That way we have the color that's on top and the white in the middle, and then whatever captured content that we have. So again, we're trying to make sure that all the color comes through correctly, and by putting white behind it will allow the color to do that. I don't know if you've ever seen like a Cricut, or how like whenever you do like things in layers, that's all we're doing. This is all just done in layers. So on here, I'm going to go ahead and add a still version because we want to make sure that we have the ability to put in a strip. So right here, what I'm going to do is, a photo strip right here with a large area for a logo. So to do this in Canva, all you're going to do is click edit. And then we're going to go ahead and click up here on the top right-hand corner to download, because we want to download what this template looks like. And then from here, we're going to go to our home screen and we're going to click create design. And then we're going to click the little upload button here. And then we're going to take that design that we brought in from Snappic, and we're going to upload it, and then we're going to use it in a new design. And we're going to click custom size because we want to keep this 640 by 1920. And then create new design. Oh, I messed that one up. One more time. So using a new design. Oh, so this is where I messed up. So right here, we need to do 640 by 1920. There we go. So just to make things easier, I'm going to change this color. Whoops. I'm going to change this background color just to so you can see what's going on. So here, I'm going to make sure that we're in that layer and we're going to make it the entire size. And then this is where the fun part starts. So let's go ahead. Let's say we want to go ahead and do a Christmas logo for this one. And we're going to go ahead and create, let's just say that we want to make this section red. So we're going to click edit and we're going to go to that duotone again. And then you can easily click one of these and have it, already preset and done for you. That's incredibly easy. Or if you have a custom color, you can go in and you can type in your hex code here. So I'm just going to go ahead and make it red. So that's just how that'll work. And then let's just say we're going to do a little Christmas tree. So we're going to go into elements and we're going to type in Christmas tree. Now, let's just say we want to do, I don't know, something boring like this. Let's say we're going to change that and make it white. A little bit larger. And then I'm just going to go into text, add a text box, and do holiday 2024. I'll click right here, make it white. Go over here to some of my custom fonts that I have. So I'm going to make that larger. And I don't like the spacing on how holiday is. So I'm going to bring in the letter spacing and bring that a little tighter. And then I'm also going to bring in the line spacing to bring in a little closer to holiday. And I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. Wonderful. Good enough. So, and again, you can do whatever you want in here and spend as much time as you would like to do. So we're going to go ahead and click share, download. And again, we're going to need, this is super important. And if you don't do this, the whole thing doesn't work. So you need to make sure that it has transparent background clicked. Then we're going to download that. So rather than upload it here, which is not what I want it to do, and I'm going to explain why in a second, but we're going to click cancel. And all we're going to do is upload it in this screen right here where it says photo booth template design. So I'm going to click upload and overlay. Then I'm going to click that holiday 2024. And that's it. We're done. Now I'm going to show you what happens if you do it the other way. So we're going to click that same size and we're going to click edit. And if I drop the image here, well, actually, we can do it here too. But sometimes it can get a little wonky. So sometimes if it's not the right size, you'll get it looking like this. And that's not what we want. Now, again, these sizes do have to match up exactly. So that's why we need to make sure that our dimensions are exactly where we want them to be. Wonderful. I'm glad I'm answering questions without even realizing it. Okay, so now we're going to do something a little bit more challenging. I think we can all handle that. So we're going to go into new template and we're going to do a 2x6. I'm sorry, 6x2. So we're going to do this horizontally. So this is some magic. It's going to be a lot of fun and hopefully y'all guys can create some really nice things. So we're going to do 1920 by 640 is our next template idea. So custom size 1920 by 640. Actually, this is really cool. I'm going to click this one because I think it's nice. So, well, no, maybe I'm not. Let's just find another template here that we think we can use. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and use this one. Why not? So what I'm going to do here is I am going to, let's just say we're going to call it Fashion Week 2024. And again, this is super specific. I would never put a logo like this in front of photos like this, but I think it still can look cool. So I'm actually going to do something right here, and I'm going to group all these elements together. I'm going to hit group and then bring this down. I'm going to delete these guys. And I'm going to change this to a gradient. Ooh, that was bad. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to do a little trick. I am going to put in some shapes here, and I'm going to do it in these different colors, and I'm actually going to get rid of that corner rounding. So I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to show you why I do it this way. Because many of y'all may need to see this. Presented in another way. So I'm going to use this as like an example of a client that sent me something that's just garbage, which happens pretty often. Move this back. Okay, so this is pretty much everything that we have. So let's just say that our client has sent us this not so appealing artwork, but hey, it's the thing that they want to use. So I'm going to go down and download it. And I'm not going to do transparent because I just want you to see how this looks like so you can see an example of what it'll be. So let's just say a client has given us this. Hopefully I'm not confusing anyone. But we're going to go into Photo P. And Photo P it's a free online editor. It's just like Photoshop. And it allows us to go ahead and make these like little quick changes. So I'm going to upload this little Fashion Week video. And this is a perfect example of an event where a client has sent us like a horrible, horrible image. So what I'm going to do here is we need to make those areas transparent so that the photos can come through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all of this little yellow color. And actually we can see I kind of missed it a little bit. So we're going to click up here and I'm going to get rid of all this and delete it. I know it's not even, that's fine, not the purpose. So now I have these 4 sections that are able to be seen now with a photo. So I'm going to click File, and I'm going to export it as PNG. Again, PNG is the magical file format that we need. I'm going to hit Save. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to our layout creator, and I'm going to click Upload Over. I'm actually going to actually it doesn't really matter how I do it, but I'm going to do Upload Overlay, and I'm going to upload the one that we just completed. So I'm going to bring the opacity up, and now you're going to see exactly how we fixed it. So just so you can see what would happen if we didn't fix it, that's the yellow that would come through and we can't do anything with that. So I'm going to change this and go back to the one where we got rid of all the yellow. Now you can do a couple of things here. So there's this quick little magical button called auto frame create. I don't think it's going to work for this one, but we're going to try it anyways. Oh my God. Oh my God. It did it. Y'all, Snappic is amazing. I am so ridiculously shocked. So I don't know why I'm shocked. And Julia's gonna be like, oh my God, this is like how we built it. So yeah, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit preview. And that's how we were able to make a completely horrible image workable. Super fun. I really do enjoy auto frame, not gonna lie. So, and then we're gonna do this is very technical. And now they've done an update where you can click save layout with overlay. So if I wanted to reuse this overlay again, I could. I'm gonna hit save that way. Someone asked, can we show how to do it if auto create doesn't work? Yes, I will do that now. So let's go ahead and create a different template. So with this one, I'm gonna do 1280 by 1920. And I'm gonna go ahead and do like some version of a glam booth. And I'm gonna do this is my typical. Brittany is like the easiest font for any wedding. So I'm going to do something like this with Debbie and Paxton. And then I'm going to create a headline and it's going to say, whoops, hello, September 24th. Or no, I'll do 9/24/24. Do something like that. And then I'm going to do some frames. So on here, we can do these pictures. Whoops. We'll do little picture frames like this. We can duplicate it. Make sure it's centered. There we go. And then I'm actually going to see what this looks like without. And then with. We're going to hit transparent again. Okay, so my problem with the transparent is that it didn't do all the things that I wanted it to do. But that's okay because we have Photopea. Oops. Okay, so we're going to open this little template that we just did, and I'm going to just delete those center areas. Whoopsie. Actually, I can just do it as this. I don't know why it's not letting me do it. That's okay. I'm just going to go in here and get out these squares. I guess there's some little version that's like a little hole in the graphic or whatever that's not doing what we want it to do. Okay. And then we're going to export it. Again, PNG. And then what we'll do is we'll go back into create new template. And then in that template, we're going to find our 4x6, and it's going to be 1920 by 1280 because that's what we did. Actually, it's going to be 6x4. I'm sorry, 4x6. There we go. So now we're going to upload overlay and then upload that heading. So what's going to happen here is, hey, let's just say that auto frame doesn't work. So what we're going to do is we're going to click add frame right here. And then that frame is going to be brought over here, and we're just going to make it, whoops, grabbing the wrong thing, right here. We're going to make it this size. And then all we're going to do is duplicate the frame right here so we don't have to do quadruple the work. And then you're just going to bring it down wherever your frames are. And if you also had a frame that was like twisted a little bit or like turned to the side, you can go ahead and, utilize that here and make it however you need it. But the auto frame should do the trick for the most part. Someone asked, can you have multiple templates for guests to pick in the same session? I have a client who would like her guests to choose between strips and 4x6 template when they are taking a picture. Yes, they can have multiple options. They just have to make that decision before they take the photo. They can't do it after, and they can't do one session and then both pop out. It has to be one or the other, and it has to be done ahead of time. I'm going to hit save. We're going to hit single overlay, and that's what will put it on there. So now whenever I go to edit, that's our beautiful layout, and that's what it will look like. Perfect, perfect, perfect. What's next on our little agenda? We did 360s, photo strips. Let's go ahead and go into some designing mirror overlays. And we know how much I love a mirror booth and roamings as well. Excuse me. They're all incredibly interactive ways to level up your photo booth game. We have some really cool options for roaming booths and mirror booths. And in those instances, I like to do verticals for this one. So if we're going to do a new template, we can do this template here where it says Insta Story. And it's going to bring that into 1080 by 1920. If there's one thing I want everyone to do is write on a post-it 1920 by 1280, 1920 by 1080. Those are the magical pixels. So let's go ahead and do a logo. And I'm going to show you a little trick here. So we're going to go ahead and click Create Design. And we'll do 1080 by 1920. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to do a couple of different versions. So let's just say that we want to, I'm trying to think of like a logo that we have that's like really light. Let me see, where's a good one? Let's do Summer Learning Series. Let's just say that we're going to do Summer Learning Series as a layout. So I'm going to use this dark gray as my like sample photo. So we're going to do a couple of things here. First off is I'm going to go ahead and click elements over here, and I'm going to add a black gradient. And you can click any one of these. So I'm going to use this one in particular. And I'm going to bring it down here. This works well when you have a very light logo. So whenever you have a very light logo, it's going to be very hard to see whenever you're doing a roaming or a mirror or anything like that, because most people tend to wear dark clothing. So I'm going to go into position, and I'm going to go into layers, and I'm going to make sure that it's lower than the logo. And I can, make it a little bit bigger. And kind of see it like that, bring it down. And then what we'll do is we'll go into share, download, and again, transparent background. So this is whenever we want to just do one gigantic photo. No templates, no multiple photos, just one huge photo. So again, we're going to go here and go into upload overlay, and we're going to upload that artwork that we just created. And then do auto frame create, and it should just create one. Perfect. Oh, it actually didn't. It created two. It actually should be. It is not here. So I would have to create that new template. So I'm going to do photo one, fill template. There we go. We're going to upload that overlay. And then whenever we hit preview, that is that beautiful logo that's super, super white. We're able to make that kind of pop off the screen simply by putting a black gradient right behind it. Now, let's say we're going to do the opposite. So I'm going to save this just as an example. And let's say we have a super dark logo. So actually, I'm going to use booth motion for this one. So with booth motion, so let's just say that, let's just go back and put it in that dark gray so we can kind of see what it would look like. So I'm actually going to use background remove right here. Kind of get rid of that. Then what I can do is I can go to elements and I can do white circle gradient. And we're going to come up with these beautiful little glowing bubbles. Actually, let me see if there's another one. This one's probably going to be a better option because it's wider. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, line it up so that it's pretty much centered and covering all of what we needed to cover. And then we're going to go into position, and then we're going to bring it down. And that is actually looking a little bit too much to me. So I'm going to click the transparency button, and I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. Just a breath. That's all we want. And then I'm going to hit download. And then again, transparent background all together now so that we get rid of this dark little area. Perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and go into create a new template. And we're going to put in that little photo and then click fill template. And then upload overlay. And we're going to upload the one that we just did. Now we're going to have that dark logo and hit preview. And now we can see that, listen, it's completely fine without it. It's a little bit more distinctive whenever you have that white behind it. So this is really one of the things that I use whenever we're having difficulty seeing a logo. It's two gradients. If it's a dark gradient, or I'm sorry, if it's a dark logo, put a white gradient. If it's a light or if it's a light logo, put a dark gradient. Super, super simple. And this is just a great rule of thumb to use. Someone goes, what if you wanted to see a border? I am not one for borders. That is not a thing that I've ever done except for the bookstore. That's about it. But what I really love is I like keeping things super, super simple, super, super clean. I don't like them cluttered. Again, that's just me. So whenever you're designing for a mirror booth or a roaming booth, less is more. You want the design to frame the interaction, but not block it. And Canva has some really good options for you to be able to kind of build this to give you that high end look. Um, I went into the background removal. Okay, image upscaling. So let's just say right here, actually, I had to do this a minute ago. So actually, this is another logo that I had a problem with whenever we were designing it, just because it's very, very cluttered. So you can do things like crop it, duplicate it, make another one. Like, for example, I can just do the Salvation Army logo here, move that up to the top left, bring it down again, change this to down for the challenge, make it a little bit bigger, bring this here and, you know, take that little thing and make it just a little bit smaller. That way it's not like so overpowering. And then this is presented by whomever. So I can make that a little bit smaller as well, put it down here. There's plenty of things that you can do whenever a client gives you, you know, garbage artwork. Because that very much is a common thing that's going to happen. So another thing that I kind of wanted to mention is whenever you have like a really, really bad pixelated logo, and I'm sure there has to be one here somewhere. Luckily, most of these are fine, but actually, I think we had a big one over here earlier. So, for example, this photo booth templates one. What I can do here is every now and then, if a client gives you a bad image, you can try and click edit. And then you're going to go down to image upscaler. Do you remember those like old like 90s movies wherever like it was like a cop show and they'd be like, oh, zoom in on that and make it clear. And that doesn't exist. Now it actually does. So what we can do is we can go in here and upscale it a little bit and it'll make it just a slight crisper. So another thing I also want to mention real quick is the difference between building something in Canva and then building something directly into Snappic. If I am lazy and there is, like, for example, right here, you can design anything you want inside Canva's photo builder. You absolutely can do it. I don't recommend it because, for example, like this white here, you can't change the color. But if you're in a pinch and you need to do something real quick, there are plenty of resources in here where you can do that. So you can go in here and you can click happy birthday. It's going to give you this massive image. So we're going to go ahead and scale it back. Oh my God, it's huge. Ah, whoops. So you can click that. I'm also probably not doing this correctly. There we go. Bring this in. This also might be my computer because this is not normally how it should be. Whatever. You guys get it. But what you can do is you can go in here and you can, you know, you can put in happy birthday, Ryan, add text, and, you know, shove it in here real quick. So you can absolutely build stuff. It's just easier for me to go ahead and build it in Canva and then upload it here. Just because depending on your device, it can be a little bit wonky. And wonky is a technical term. in here and click and see where we are. Lastly, we're going to do a bridal show layout. So I'm going to share this screen real quick. Whoops. So we're going to do a bridal show layout real quick. So one of the things that I talked about in the texting club was whenever we have a bridal show, I may not always have time to order brochures. And so you just kind of have to use whatever you have, right next to you. So one of the things that I've done is I've created these printable brochures, if you will. And what we can do is make sure that it's interactive, make sure it has some of the things that we offer, make sure it has our, contact information. But someone is more likely to hold on to something that has themselves on it. So I could hand a client a brochure and they can run away, or I could have a client with a photo of themselves with my brochure on it and send out, on their way. So that is something that they're more likely to hold on to. So what we can do here is go back into Canva. And we can go ahead and build something real quick. So I'm just going to do Instagram post. Or let me do social media mockup, see if that brings us anything. This would be kind of cool, I guess. I don't think I would do this, but it's most definitely possible. So you could do bridal show information. You could do, I'm going to back all these out again. Whoops. And I'm going to make these white. So in theory, you could do kind of something like this. And I would go to download it. I'm just going to download it as it is because I can't make those transparent. But then I can go into Photopea and open it again. Go into bridal show information. And then real quickly, just delete these three. Export it as a PNG. Save it. Go back into create a new template. And again, we're 1920 by 1280. I'm going to upload that overlay. Throw in auto frame create. It's going to pop out those 1, 2, 3. Preview. And you have just created a brochure with pricing with your client's information on it. I mean, again, I wouldn't necessarily do this, but you saw from the original example, that's just another way that you can do it. And again, you saw how quickly I did that. Like this stuff moves just at lightning speed. So you're really not, waiting too much to, create something new. I'm going to go back. Remove that. Guess that chat kind of got away from me. Wonderful. So now let me go back to the slide. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So yes, so there's plenty of ways to create a bridal show layout. It's eye catching. Your design is going to be everything. So obviously, I spent 30 seconds on this. You're going to want to spend a lot more time on it. But think about like the overall theme. Are you doing more elegant? Are you doing more modern? Are you doing more rustic? You want the design to match the vibe of the show, and then also match the vibe of whatever it is that you're doing. So for example, every booth. I love every booth. It is so beautiful. I live in Vegas. It is lights, it is metal, it is neon, it is not wood. So that's something that doesn't exactly work for my brand. However, it could easily work for yours. So this is a really great way to make your layout stand out, makes you different, better, more special than anyone else that's going to be at that bridal show. Wow, we have covered a lot. We've gone from basic Canva tools to background removal to creating templates to 360s. So hopefully you can make all of your own stunning designs. Another thing I did want to mention is the templates. So there are plenty of template places. Some sell Canva, some don't. These are just a few of them. I use a couple of these every now and then if I just don't want to think. And most of these are good places to start. I do know that Photo Booth Talk will. I think a few of them are done in Canva, so you can buy that template, put it into Canva, and then make it whatever you want to make it and edit it however you want to edit it. Let's get to a couple of questions because I don't think that we have. I've done a bad job of taking questions in the middle of it today. Let me see. Where's the Q&A? I usually try to do similar fonts that the event hosts use in their flyers and invitations. You try to emulate that or do your own thing. Yes, absolutely. If the most you can do is try and match your template to whatever it is that the client is doing. I'm going to pull up another example that I have on a different account. So I did an event for the Boston Pops this weekend, and that was the event with the mirror booth that I also enjoyed. But the thing with that one that I appreciated is they were able to kind of give me, carte blanche. Like I got to really do whatever it is that I wanted to do, and I really did appreciate them for letting me do that. One of the things that I did was the Boston Pops has a very particular type of brand. It has the red. It has, a lot of serify font. So it's the ones with like the little ends. They're not, moved around. But what I really appreciate is how we were able to kind of recreate it. Let's see if I can pull it up. Maybe I can't pull it up. I can post an example in the Facebook group a little bit later on. But yeah, I really appreciated how we were able to kind of match that. Sometimes there are certain fonts that are there are certain fonts that are copyrighted, but if you can get something that's like really similar, all the better. I mean, with Canva, especially Canva Pro, there's a million fonts that you can choose from, so it's very easy to make sure that that can happen. We did auto create. What else did we do? Awesome. I think that pretty much covers it. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Let me pull up a couple more things before we get to the leg giveaway. Wow, 73. Y'all have stayed through the whole thing. Good for y'all. I really don't like this little button. There we go. Perfect. Couple things I really wanted to talk about really quick is for this past weekend, I was on a plane. And again, I talked about it at the beginning of the show. I was able to put out a blast. I was like, hey guys, I have an hour. Like, send me all of your questions. And boy, did y'all deliver. Y'all sent me some really amazing questions. We were able to kind of go over everything. We went over bridal shows. People were asking me about camera equipment and shortcuts and all sorts of fun stuff. So I was really happy to be able to talk to everyone about that. If you do want to join the texting club, text Ryan to 833-209-9555. And yes, it is me responding. If you don't do it at a time where like I'm asking like, hey, everyone text me right now. I will get to it eventually. It's not always very easy for me to, go back and forth on. But yes, I do enjoy talking to everyone and having everyone tell me their experiences and whatever horrible thing happened to them that weekend. I really appreciate it, and I am right there with you. Next, a thing that I get asked very often is, do I do consultations? Yes, I do consultations. If you go to ryansalinas.com, you can click the little schedule appointment button, and we can schedule some one-on-one time to talk about whatever it is that you may have on your mind, whatever it may be. I am 100% open book. There are plenty of people on this call right now that I've had very long conversations with and helped through problems and things that we can do to make more efficient. I'm actually coming out with a blog this week on how I changed my phone system. I went from paying $2,600 a year to $300 a year. So most definitely some fun little savings coming up. So everyone that is in the texting club is going to get that link first. Awesome. Well, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. If anyone has any questions, feel free to contact me. Otherwise, we will see you next time. Bye.